Coach. Obviously, it was back and forth there, and then Devin Booker happened. So just maybe speak to the game that he had, a season high 43 for Booker.
Yeah, it was really efficient. He knocked down his free throws. He missed one, still had 5 assists. And, taking 26 shots and playing as hard as he does is pretty remarkable. But the efficiency that he played with tonight, whether it was in pick and roll, mid-range, he was in attack mode all night long. And it certainly wasn't a pretty first half for us because we turned the ball over. I thought we came out. We turned it over a few times in the third, but there was a moment, I think after about the 6-minute mark, where he just kind of took over the game, and we stopped turning it over, and that allowed for us to get some looks at the basket. But that's just Book. He's a complete offensive player. I just told him just now, 43 points, the way he scores the ball is not something I take for granted, and no one should. It's a gift, and we certainly are grateful for it.
And just to follow along those lines, Ayton had an efficient game as well, and you've talked about him dominating in the paint. I thought it was a variety of getting in the paint and then scoring, but then had shooting the jumper. Just maybe speak to his offensive performance tonight.
Well, he's a growing, developing big who can dominate games on both ends of the floor, and I thought he made a great effort tonight to seal and get position in the paint, on the block, and he didn't give the position up. That's something, he's been working on with Coach Bryant, not giving up real estate. And, when he plays like that, it adds a dimension to our game, from pick and roll to ISO to movement, body movement, ball movement, and then the ability to post him up. But I thought the job that he, Dario, and Frank were able to do on Towns tonight, just limiting his catches, really helped us, because Towns is a really good player. And DA did an exceptional job just trying to make it tough for him to catch the ball so he couldn't get to his sweet spots.
All right, next up we have Kellen Olsen with Arizona Sports. He'll be followed by Mark McClune.
Hey, Monty, with the turnovers in the first half, they felt really uncharacteristic, and it was just some basic passes, it felt like. What were you seeing on those? Just
sloppiness. There's no other way to define it. We just weren't as sharp. I think we had 10 in the first half for 14 points. That was the deal. In the second half, we only had 6, but they still had 22 points off of our turnovers. So we certainly will address it before we step back on the floor, because when we're playing the right way, we're too good of an offensive team to turn it over like that. And we work too hard on defense to give it back. And so to me, it's a whammy, if you will, to play that hard on defense and then come back down on the offensive end and give it back to the team. You just can't do that. And our guys know it. I mean, once we stopped turning the ball over, especially live ball turnovers, we were much more efficient. And look at the score. I mean, we had 65 points in the second half. We only had 6 turnovers. So that speaks to that. If we take care of the ball, we have a much better chance at scoring.
All right, next up we have Mark McClune with the Arizona Family. He'll be followed by Zachary Keenan.
Hey, Monty, Devin quoted you on the post-game interview, and I guess one of your favorite sayings he said is, "We can't get happy on the farm." How do you get that message across here in the coming days and weeks as you guys continue rolling like this?
No, I'm just going to talk about the turnovers and the ability to not get bored with what works. That's what ends up happening. You get happy on the farm because of a few things. You're scoring the ball, or you win a few games, whatever the case may be. Like, we just can't get bored with being efficient. We can't get bored with getting stops. We can't get bored with playing in 0.5 and making the right plays. And that's going to be on our next film session for sure. The turnovers, there were a few times where we didn't make the next pass. Cam Johnson had one where I think Dooley was in the corner, wide open. And Cam's the guy he's one of our guys that makes the right play all of the time. So that's the deal for me. We can't get bored with the effort and the efficiency that we put on the floor every night. We're trying to be a good team. We're not even close to being a great team. We're trying to be consistent at being a good team. And that's something that we're going to continue to hammer, not just these next couple games and certainly the next one we have against the Lakers, but for the rest of the year.
All right, next up we have Zachary Keenan, followed by Cameron Cox.
Hey, Coach, you talked about Book's performance. Who else impressed you tonight on the floor?
Well, Chris had 15 assists. You know, it's really hard to do. I mean, guys got to make shots, but, you know, I've watched his passing for a long time. You know, to be able to put the ball on target and give guys a chance to score is a gift. I thought Dario's play tonight was a huge lift for us. The drive to the basket was signature Dario. You think he's going to shoot it or pass it, and he attacks the rim. And, you know, he just doesn't jump that high, but he seems to get that shot off. And then the 2 threes he hit back-to-back were big for us. And Dooley, I thought he played the right way tonight. You know, he didn't score a ton, but just his motor, his ability to get downhill defensively, he's got a big body, and he gives us some versatility on that end.
All right, Coach, final 2 questions. Next, we have Cameron Cox with 12 News, followed by Dwayne Rankin.
Hey, Coach, there we go. You know, you heard Book quote you on the broadcast. You often say sometimes you can be kind of boring. Does it make you feel any better that your guys remember some of those sayings that you have and they can repeat them on national TV?
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't change the fact that I am boring. Just because people repeat what you say doesn't change who you are, so I'm okay with it. I think the guys know how much I want it for the organization, for them, and it's what I know to continue to plug away at doing the ordinary things every day. That's who I am. I'm not that bright. I'm certainly not that talented. So for me, I have to work at it, and I have to do the right thing every single day. That's how I've tried to build my life, and for me, leaving a legacy for my kids. And so I try to bring that to the table because I'm not Popovich. I'm certainly not any one of the elite coaches in this league. So I just have to work at it. And if I can pass that on to our players, you know, I've done part of my job.
All right, final question comes from Dwayne Rankin.
Probably gonna have to put that farm comment on a T-shirt, Coach, at some point. I don't know if that's something you want to do, but that's probably coming. But just to follow up, you mentioned the Lakers, and obviously that's the next one. And you know, you finished talking about finishing a road trip and finishing the All-Star break and all those things. Just the significance. I know it's just one game, but when you're playing the defending NBA champs, it's a big deal. So maybe just the significance of that game.
Well, you know. You guys have heard me say this. You know, we're going to enjoy tonight. The next thing we have will be a film session, and that film session has to be approached with a high level of intention to get ready for the defending champs. But you know, every team in this league can get you, and we understand that right now they're the standard. They're the champions. So we know we have to bring a great effort. And execution, and it starts with our focus in the next film session. You know, we've talked to our guys about doing the next right thing, and for us as a team, it'll be the focus and intention in our next film session and practice.
Dario, before the game, coaches said that you would be available, but it would be in a limited capacity. Looked like it was a little more than limited. How did the ankle feel, and how good did it feel to get back after missing that last game?
Feeling is good, you know, to be back on a court. You know, obviously, I kind of pushed a little bit to come back from this injury. You know, ankle is feeling all right. You know, for sure it's not 100%. You know, but I really want to play. You know, I don't want to miss games anymore. I want to be with this team, who is playing hard every game, every night, and that's how it is. they put the minutes restriction, you know, but sometimes in basketball it's hard to handle that, you know, and that's how it is. You know, I play probably a little bit more, but you know, I'm glad we win the game. We beat the Timberwolves here, and now we are ready, you know, to continue our trip. One more game left, and try to win the day one too.
Just a quick follow-up, Dario. What'd you think of, Devin's performance? Just your thoughts on it.
Devin is unbelievable. You know, I think he's supposed to make All-Star before, you know, before the I don't know who get injured. Before the guy who get the injury, you know, he's supposed to be there, you know, even before that. But you know, amazing game. He proved what he is. You know, he can score, he can pass, he can do everything. And you know what I say, it's just sky's limit for him. I think he continues to play like this, you know, he'll be unbelievable. And I hope he will continue to play like this because we'll win the games.
All right, next up we have Cody Cunningham with Suns.com.
Hey, Dario. Chris had another 15 assists tonight and seems to be in a nice groove with you and your teammates now. Just what's that growth been like working with him over the past few months, and how do you see that chemistry growing?
Yeah, I can see the chemistry is growing, you know, like I think was the most important thing. Everybody's kind of finding their roles in the team. And, you know, when you have a Chris on the point guard, you know, you need to just be a little bit open, you know, be there in a good spot, and you will get the kind of easy bucket with him. And, you know, I think I will, you know, obviously Devin and Chris are our, like, guys who are, like, kind of main players, you know, with DA, you know, but I would like to give the credit to other guys, you know, because they really sacrifice and really play hard and really there for their teammates. And other than that, I think chemistry is going in the right direction. You know, everything is easier when you win in the game. You know, I know we will not be on 100% every night. That's normal in the seasons. In the NBA season, you know, you can't be 100% every night. But if you win the games, and if you are not 100% and you are winning some games, you know, I think that's the most important thing. Especially when you have a player like Devin and Chris who can give you kind of force a little bit more to get those wins, you know, everything seems easy. And I think we will just continue to going in this direction.
Yes, Deandre, I see you got your chain back. You let Frank wear it. Can you explain that exchange that happened the other night?
Frank asked me, and you know, that's my dude. That's Tank. That's FK. So I was like, go ahead, Frank. And it was just so cool seeing it on him. Because, you know, Frank, I don't think I'll ever see this big of a chain on Frank ever.
Okay, just a quick follow. Obviously tonight, your game and being able to get shots on Cat. You hadn't played it since your rookie year. How nice was it to get that another opportunity and to play the way you did tonight?
But yeah, it was a battle. It was fun. I'm not gonna lie. You know, just going through that experience again. Haven't played him in a while, and I know he's a whole different player. I'm a whole different player. So, I mean, just going throughout the game, just knowing what I have to do, sticking to our principles, and you know, just getting in rhythm on offense. My guys finding me on the post ups and drop offs. You know, I was in rhythm tonight, and you know, I just want to give thanks to my teammates for staying on me on the defensive end and knowing my principles. Even though I picked up some cheap ones, some cheap fouls, it was still a solid play on knowing what we wanted to exhaust on the defensive end. So it was good.
All right, next up we have Gina Mizell with Suns.com, followed by Kellen Olsen.
Hey, DA, a game where you guys really pulled away again and kind of halfway through the third quarter and the fourth quarter. Just what do you feel like kind of clicked for you guys in those minutes to kind of make the score and give yourself the big lead?
You know, our bench, you know, we getting on us about the turnovers, not playing to the level of competition, just keeping our foot on the glass, just remembering things like that. You know, just overcoming the adversity, overcoming the hard part of the game. You know, just making sure we stayed together as a unit, you know, while we played. And, you know, you felt that in the fourth. think it was like that for the last couple games, to be honest, where we, even went up another notch in a way, and we started making more shots, and we were more locked in till the end. We played hard till the end, so that's the feel I got tonight, and that's why we got the win.
All right, next up we have Kellen Olsen with Arizona Sports, followed by Cameron Cox.
Hey, DA, you mentioned you felt in rhythm tonight. Is that something that you feel coming into a game? Is there a specific play that happens for you on the court when you feel that? Can you take us through that a bit?
I mean, the way how I get in rhythm is just getting my guys open, knowing the type of offense I generate when I roll to the basket, things like that, offensive boards going back up, and that's how I really get in rhythm with all these games, just coming in with offensive rebound or screen assists.
All right, DA, we have time for just one more. Next is Cameron Cox with 12 News.
Hey, DA, on the broadcast after the game, Devin Booker, he said, "Can't get happy on the farm." I believe that's a quote from Monty. Have you ever heard Monty say that? What do you make of that?
I mean, play's not over, game's not over. We still got to stick to our principles until the game is done or until we've won. Not get too happy at the moment, and just finish the job. That's about it.
Hey, Devin, I'm not going to ask you how your elbow feels. Must be feeling all right. You scored 18 after you hit your elbow in that third quarter. But was this a game where you just said, "Hey, look, I got to inject myself because I don't like how this is looking right now"?
Yeah, I think I said at postgame we've had multiple losses this year. I think 7 of them playing with the lead, 17 points or better, 7 games. So I just didn't want this night to be one of those nights. But it was still a collective effort with that unit. Dario came in the fourth quarter, hit a couple big shots, and once we got it going, we got it going. But obviously we wanted to be sooner and later and step on our opponent, but we didn't do that to start the game.
Quick follow, Dev. We know what's coming in a couple of days, the defending champs in LA. Just your thoughts on that opportunity to play a big game like that against the defending champs.
I'm looking forward to it.
All right, next up we have Paul Richardson with the Sports Cave. He'll be followed by Kellen Olsen.
Devin, just kind of to piggyback off of that question, how important is it not to overlook a game like this? And is it hard to stay focused when you have the Lakers, the Warriors, and then All-Star break coming up?
Yeah, you want to go into the break with good energy. So I think if we can finish this thing out strong, it'll give us a good jump start to the second half of the season. So we've been locked in. It's been a good road trip so far. Hopefully we can finish it out in LA in a couple of days.
All right, next up we have Kellen Olsen with Arizona Sports.
Hey, Book, in the first 10 or 15 games, we were asking you about feeling out Chris and you guys getting used to each other. This game felt like a really good example of you guys doing that with the way you guys took over in the second half. What kind of progress have you seen specifically in the last month with a lot of wins coming along the way?
Just finding our spots, finding our reads, finding our chemistry. As much as we both know the game and are students of the game, I think the real test for learning it and developing it is spending time on the court together. So I think however many games we're in, we're starting to find the groove.
All right, next up we have Gina Mizell with Suns.com, followed by Cameron Cox.
Hey, Book, Monty said that you were just in attack mode tonight, and just obviously lots of strong drives to the basket and finishing with both hands. Did that just feel like, okay, this is the way I'm going to sort of take over and just I see that lane's open and I'm going to just, go to the basket with authority?
Yeah, just taking what the defense gives me, to be honest, trying to simplify the game, once it gets to that point in the game where we can't get anything going. Instead of trying to force anything. So, it's trying to play with the flow and take what the defense gives me.
All right, Book, final question comes from Cameron Cox with 12 News.
Hey, Book, congrats on the win. We heard you drop Monty's quote about not getting happy on the farm after the game. Are there any other quotes of his that you like? He often tells us that he thinks he's boring sometimes, but apparently, some of his quotes, they obviously resonate with you guys.
Yeah, he has a bunch of isms. I'm sure you guys have heard him over time. I think he should write a book, you know, to be honest. Just whatever he says, how boring they are, or if anybody feels that way, if you listen to him and take him in, you know, he has great meaning behind it. And it's great information for us to take in. So, you know, it might sound a little funny, don't get happy on the farm, but, you know, that's probably why we have 5 extra losses this year. You know, it's coming out in games, not ready to go, and, you know, dealing with winning the wrong way instead of stepping on teams' necks and getting it over with. So, you know, it has a lot of truth to it.